You might think you know Peanuts, but here are 12 facts you may not have known about good old Charlie Brown. The first animated Peanuts series was A Charlie Brown Christmas, directed by Bill Melendez, which first aired on CBS on December 9, 1965. It was of course based on the comic strip Peanuts by Charles Schulz, which you can learn all about in our You Think You Know Comics video on the topic. The very first animated versions of the Peanuts were not in specials, however, but in a series of ads for the Ford Motor Company that were used to advertise and introduce the Tennessee Ernie Ford Show, of which Ford was a sponsor. These ads were directed by Bill Melendez, who would have a long relationship with Charlie Brown and the gang. Melendez formed a friendship with Schulz, and when a television documentary special called A Boy Named Charlie Brown was produced in 1963, Melendez was brought on to direct a short animated sequence. Although this special never aired, it did bring together Melendez, Schulz, and jazz musician Vince Guaraldi. Later, Coca-Cola called up Melendez's studio, asking if he could produce a Christmas special they could sponsor. He told them he could, and the next day called up Charles Schulz to let him know that they would be making a Charlie Brown Christmas. Executives at CBS felt certain that A Charlie Brown Christmas would be a flop, due to its unusual choices of using real children as voice actors, a jazz soundtrack, and most notably, no laugh track. Instead, the special was a huge hit, won an Emmy and a Peabody, and is now the second longest running Christmas special after Rudolph. CBS immediately ordered 4 more specials. In the Peanuts comic, children's conversations with adults are one-sided, seen only from the child's point of view. To replicate this effect in the animated specials, Vince Guaraldi came up with the idea for the famous wah-wah effect, made by playing a trombone with a solo tune mute. The young girl who performed the voice of Sally, Kathy Steinberg, had not yet learned to read by the time A Charlie Brown Christmas was produced. As a result, her lines had to be fed to her, often either a word or even a syllable at a time, which is the reason for some of her choppy line readings. A Charlie Brown Christmas is credited with bringing about the end of the popularity of the aluminum Christmas tree, which had been a fad between the years of 1958 and 1965. The special shows these trees in a negative light, and just 2 years after the show's first airing, aluminum trees were no longer regularly manufactured. The other most famous Peanuts special is the third produced. It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, which first aired on CBS on October 27, 1966. Viewers at the time felt so much sympathy for Charlie Brown getting rocks at Trick or Treat that boxes of candy were sent in for him from around the world. Remember Kathy Steinberg, the voice of Sally from Fact Number 7? Well, just as she was about to wrap up her recording for Great Pumpkin, her mom called the producers to tell them Kathy had a loose tooth. In order to avoid a sudden lisp for the rest of her dialogue, they hurried Steinberg into the studios to finish her lines. Just as she spoke her last line, her tooth flew out of her mouth. As of this writing, the most recent Peanuts special is Happiness is a Warm Blanket, Charlie Brown, which first aired on Fox Network on October 1st, 2011. It was the first Peanuts special produced without the involvement of Bill Melendez, who passed away in 2008. Although we only touched on a handful of specials in this video, altogether there have been a total of 45 animated TV specials, 5 feature films, 3 educational videos, 28 documentary specials, a mini-series on the history of America, and 18 episodes of The Charlie Brown and Snoopy Show, a series that ran for 2 seasons from 1983 to 1986. That's it for this episode of You Think You Know Cartoons. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Comics Alliance for more cartoon facts, and check out comicsalliance.com for more cartoon awesomeness.